Oh, well. I certainly didn't expect what we got today, but man, I will take it. I will take it. As a wise man once said, you listen. You shut up and you listen. About damn time. About damn time. I'm glad finally the Clippers done blown it up. Now, if we only had gotten number two out of the building, that would have been fine. That would have been amazing. But don't worry, his time will be coming soon. And then I can finally 100% believe in this team again. But the Clippers, they didn't stop. The trade deadline has obviously ended as of this recording at 5 p.m., 5:35 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And the Clippers finally made another move. Oh man, it feels good in here. Jeez Louise. In the last two videos, I've been more happy about this team than I have at the start of the year, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. As what one of my favorite wrestlers, Drew McIntyre, said when he was in his CM Punk feud. I prayed for this, and it happened. I was always praying for the Clippers to finally, and I mean finally, realize it was over. No more. No mas. Stop with this running it back with 2-1-3. It's not working. I pray that eventually at some point, the idiots in the front office, led by Lawrence Frank, would finally realize they just have to punt. They need to move on. They need to start the rebuild. They need to start trading people and getting assets for these dudes. And lo and behold, Lawrence Frank, the Lord Jesus Christ, has answered my prayers. And now there's seemingly a dimmer of hope for this organization for once. Something I haven't felt since damn near since 2019. Hope. That's all I wanted. I wanted this team to finally give me a vision. A vision. That's all I wanted. What is the path? The vision is get younger. The vision is moving on to the next era and accepting that 2-1-3 was a complete failure. That's the vision. That is the way. But no, time and time again, the Clippers tried to double down on 2-1-3, tried to double down on number two because they got some stupid false hope that he was going to get them to a playoff spot to get them to a NBA Finals appearance. I said this time and time again. After the 2023 season, this is when the team should have fucking blown this whole 2-1-3 era up to freaking hell. But no, they didn't want to do that. They wasted 4 more years until they finally realized in the fourth year, we need to end this. James Harden got traded. And lo and behold, there was a lot of intrigue going into this deadline, going into this time period on, you know, what the hell that they're going to do. And especially with the number one guy in Zubac. And it's very funny, right? So in the Harden situation, he was out the last two Clipper games as a Clipper player out because of personal reasons. Later did we find out he was working a trade behind the scenes. Then yesterday, we find out Ivica Zubac wasn't playing for personal reasons. I literally quote to you to one of the beat reporters saying, sure, if you say so. And 24 hours later, Zubac gets traded to the Pacers. So lo and behold, you're trying to tell me if somebody's out for personal reasons, we're gonna get traded. Okay, I'm going. Next year in the deadline, if I see a player is out for personal reasons, I'm gonna 100% believe that is a trade. Now, albeit it was actually for real personal reasons, the man had his firstborn child born. But regardless, he still got traded because of personal reasons. And that was the one domino people were wondering. Are the Clippers going to trade Zubac? His value couldn't be any higher than it is now. Now, I talked about making a mention about the Boston Celtics offer that they should have taken that shit. I still believe they should have taken that shit because you're getting first round picks. I don't care how bad it is. You're still getting a first round pick. So we heard some mumblings late last night, going into the mornings of today, talking about how it seems like the Pacers and the Clippers are talking about a trade revolving around Zubac. And I'm like, okay. I'm only doing the trade for getting first round picks in return for this guy. And lo and behold, I'm over here in a meeting at work, and I get an alert to my phone, and I check, and it says the Clippers have traded Ivica Zubac to the Indiana Pacers. Now in the meeting, I'm like scraping over on my phone, like seeing, hey, did somebody put up the compensation and everything? Because I'm just like, whoa. We need to see what the fucking compensation is. Because my freaking God, we need to see what we're getting. But lo and behold, geez Louise, it's absolutely crazy, bro. Absolutely crazy. So, the Clippers, in the trade today, they received for Ivica Zubac. They're getting shooting guard Benedict Mathurin, forward / center Isaiah Jackson, 2 first round picks. One of them being a 2026 first round pick from the Pacers that is protected for slots 1 and 4 and 10 through 30. Plus a 2029 unprotected Pacers first round pick. And they end up getting a second round pick too. And that's all for Zubac and bum-ass Kobe Brown, who is not an NBA level player. So, you're asking, what are my thoughts? I love this trade. You know, who would have thought? This Clipper run going on, the run that they were going on, how they overcame the 6-21 freaking record. They're still under 500, mind you, but they're getting close. And then all comes undone because James Harden wanted some money. And James Harden did the right thing and said, well, if you're not going to give me the money, then just trade me. I want to help you guys out. And James Harden most certainly did. We ended up getting Darius Garland. And then only 24 hours later, the Clippers trade Zubac to the Pacers for 2 firsts and a draft pick and 2 players. You'll do that deal. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I was never a believer in this insane record that they went on. I was never a believer in it because it's like, well, they're only delaying the inevitable. They're only winning games in the regular season to try to get themselves a play-in spot or get themselves at least maybe out of the play-in somehow. For what? To be a first-round exit? You're only delaying the inevitable. This team was going nowhere. And the fact that it looked like they were going to run it back again, I was like, dude, what the hell, bro? I'm not invested in this shit. And lo and behold, Lord have mercy, did my prayers get answered? Lawrence Frank actually had the balls to finally blow it up. Now, all we needed to get out of this whole thing was Kawhi getting traded, but whatever. His time will be coming soon. So you know what? I can be happy at the vision and understand that even though number 2 is still here, I'm a lot more happy. It's only a matter of time before number 2 is finally purged from this organization and all this bullshit that he's been giving us. I don't care anymore. I'm done with him. So whatever batted bonus you want to add to him to this freaking core, whatever. I don't care. All I know is he's got 2 more years going, and tick, 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 he's fucking gone. And he's off my fucking basketball team, and I don't have to see this guy ever again. Because he scammed the shit out of this organization. He was promised to bring a freaking championship to this team, and he's failed to live up to said promise. For that was a waste of time, effort, and fucking money. And we gave up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for this fucking bum. So we got scammed by the Kawhi Leonard. Never again do I want to see this organization buy its way to a fucking championship. Bail through the fucking draft, for crying out loud. Learn from your lessons. Learn from 2019. You don't give up blue chip prospects. You tell the said player, you want to come here, you work with the said blue chip prospect, and you watch how he develops. Lord have mercy, we wouldn't be in this position if Kawhi just had trusted Shai from the start. All right, enough of the ranting. I want to be happy. I want to be positive. Positive. I love this trade. I never, in my wildest dreams, would have believed. Lawrence Frank has completely made me do a complete 180 on this guy. And for people who've been on the channel, people seen the videos, I've been wanting and been watching Clipper videos, you've been seeing me rant about Lawrence Frank and how he needs to be fired. Now y'all can make the argument he earned his fucking extension for this shit. And crazy enough, it was James Harden that forced his hand. But I can't lie. For once in his Clipper tenure as the player roster personnel guy, whatever, the GM, he absolutely 100% cooked. And I have to admit it. If this is the type of Lawrence Frank we're going to be getting, sign me the fuck up. This is the shit I'm talking about. But if you're going to give me this bullshit Lawrence Frank shit, where you're going out here one day saying we need to get younger and we need to do this, and then you turn it around in the offseason and you're going to sign all these old guys, then that means I'm going to hate you and you deserve to be fired. Now, if only Lawrence Frank could get his drafting, situation under control and absolutely properly scout said players coming out in the NBA draft and absolutely take actually good players, then he'd be a complete GM. I love this trade. You blow up at least a good core of the team or a good core of what was ever left of 2-1-3. And you essentially finally move off on 2 guys in James Harden and especially Zubac. So you can go out there and you can go get some draft picks and get some promising players that are building on to the next era. The only guys that are basically remaining from 2-1-3 is Kawhi and fucking Batum. And I don't know why my dog is barking. I don't know why my dog's barking. I really don't. Anyways. Those are only 2 remaining guys, but mostly if you look at Kawhi, he is the only really true remaining piece from 2-1-3 era. Oh God, I'm going to kill my dog if she does not shut up. Anyways, you have one more. Kawhi is the last thing of this era, right? But see, I don't feel bad for him one bit. I don't. Do you think I feel bad for him? No, I don't. Because Kawhi did it to himself. You want to know why he did it to himself? Because if he never had all these demands, if he never did all these things, if he never pushed this organization into the doldrums that this organization was going into, then we'd all be fine. But no, he just had to get his way. He just had to get another superstar to come in to force the Clippers to trade away all their freaking assets. Sorry for that. Tech issues. You hate. All right. Where did we last leave off on? Okay, yes. But not feeling sympathy for Kawhi Leonard. I don't feel sympathy for Kawhi Leonard one freaking bit. Because you want to know why I don't feel sympathy? He did this. If he had just come to the organization, signed with the team, played it out 1 year with the said team that took the Golden State Warriors, with Kevin Durant, mind you, to 6 games in the playoffs last year before he signed with them, lo and behold, maybe the future looks brighter. We still have Shea, and maybe Shea develops into the MVP player he is today. And we would be in a lot better spot. But you didn't do that. The coach didn't do, or not the coach. Kawhi didn't want to do that. He wanted the Clippers to sacrifice their entire future. So for him being all alone, I feel no sympathy for him. He did this. He did this. He caused it. I don't feel bad for him one bit. If only you had just joined the team, you wouldn't be in this situation. We'd already have a fucking championship. And we have Shea, who's an MVP blue chip player. We'd have a top 10, not a top 10, a top 3 player in this league. Unbelievable, man. What a fucking idiotic trade. But the Clippers finally realized they need to do everything I've been saying. Get younger, get faster, get more athletic, and build for the future. And that's what the Clippers are doing. Look, it's clear. Once the Harden got traded, that's when it opened the floodgates of, okay, if Harden got traded, that means nothing can happen. Anything can happen. And Zubac getting traded really goes to show you that this team is fully committed to making moves necessary. Any moves necessary. And for the fact that the Clippers got a potential lottery pick for next year's draft. Oh my God. Essentially, how this 2026 overall breakdown goes like this. If the Pacers end up getting a draft slot of either 1 through 4 or 10 through 30, they have the right to said draft pick. That draft pick will also end up converting into a 2031 draft pick for the Clippers, which means I believe they'll have two 2031 draft picks. But in any event, the Pacers get, and the lottery machine has the Pacers getting basically little ball in the numbers of 5 to 9. That is the Clippers pick, which means there is a potential chance the Clippers next year or in this upcoming draft lottery could find a way and somehow have a top 5 draft pick. If anything later than 5, you'll have a top 10 draft pick in the lottery. That would complete. Now, if you get the top 5th pick in the draft, it completely changes your entire organization's future. Because you can draft potentially the next homegrown superstar that was supposed to be Shea, but really the next homegrown superstar since Blake Griffin. This is game changing, franchise altering. Now, do I wish Lawrence Frank could have told the Pacers, hey, do about the 10 to 30? But whatever. It's a fucking gamble. And you want to know what? It's a risk you have to fucking take. Because guess what? You need a pick. You need something. And if the balls, obviously, if the NBA does not rig it, because we saw the Cooper Flag shit, if the league doesn't rig it, and they want to actually be sympathetic towards the Clippers, we find a way to get a pick between pick 5 and 9, and you can completely change your organization around. That is a risk you have to take. That is a risk you have to take. Because if you don't take said fucking risk, where are you going? There is no future. But if you take the risk, you can change the trajectory of your entire organization, your entire franchise, the way you're perceived. This can get you back in the game. And it actually gets you contending faster than later. Because if you don't get it, it's going to take a few years, and a certain type of moves you have to make. But if you can get said draft pick, you're cooking with gas. And this is a risk the Clippers had to take. They had no first round draft picks. They had nothing. Nothing. Because they kept trading away like it was candy from a candy store. And for this team, for Lawrence Frank to have the smarts to say, we got to take this risk. We have to take the risk. If this risk pays off, we're looking at this trade as a historic landmark in the change of this organization. And even if you do fail, your next first round pick, as long as this organization does not trade it, for the love of God, I hope they don't, you have a 2029 first round pick, and it's unprotected. So that's good. Which means, guess what? You just have to wait 3 more years after 2026. And who's to say you can't do more trades? Maybe a stupid team is willing to give you more first round picks, whether it's 2028 or 2027. So there's that. The second round pick, surprisingly, it looks like they're actually good at drafting second rounders. And then you get Isaiah Jackson, who, hey, he can get some nice quality minutes. And then you get Benedict Mathurin, another good player. And I know amongst the Clipper population, mostly some of these so-called podcasters, they're not really high on Benedict Mathurin. Oh, he hasn't played as good this season. Who gives a damn? He's still a good player. Still a young player who's fairly young. Now, he will be an unrestricted free agent. I would believe the Clippers are going to re-sign him. Because you don't do this trade if you have no intention to re-sign him. And guess what? You have your backcourt. You have Garland. You have Mathurin. That is a solid backcourt for the future. Your backcourt is set. And all you're telling me you got to fix is the front court? If Yannick pans out to be a good player, you got your center of the future, potentially. Now, you got to address the wing position. And then build quality players around them. And even then, you may still have an open roster spot to go out there and pay for a superstar that is out on the market. You'll take it, man. You will take it. And that's all for Zubac. It's even more embarrassing when you look at the fact what the Lakers traded for him. They basically got pennies. And the Clippers turned what the Lakers trade was for 2 first-round picks, 2 players, and 1 second rounder. And one of those picks actually being a lottery pick, potentially. I love this trade. This is a gamble. This is a risk you have to take. If you want to change the outlook of your franchise, you take that. You take the risk. This team was always gambling and risking Kawhi Leonard's health. Why don't you just gamble and risk on a potential top 5 lottery pick? Because if you gamble and win it, and you get the top 5 pick, you can change your entire organization around. Unbelievable. Now, as for Zubac being traded, look, respect, commendable action. Zubac, since we traded him, he's been nothing but a great soldier. He was available every freaking game. You can make a case he was one of the members of this heart and soul of the Clippers. There was a lot of good things he did. There was a lot of bad things he did. But he was a solid to good player for the Clippers. Always available when we needed him. He didn't complain. He went out there. He worked his ass off. He tried to put this team in position to try to win it all. Now, there were very much lows. His butterfinger hands, still even an issue today. Times where he wasn't as physical as he should be. He was, where he came across as soft. Yes, sir, he had his issues. He had his warts. But he was a solid player for us. And for that, I thank him. Because it only shows you, hey, this is the type of center we're going to need, but one that also we do know we need to have one better. Yes, I'm going to miss Zubac and what he provided for this team. But it's plain and simple. Let's be honest. The coach didn't have a role for him. Dumbass Ty Lue came into this season saying that Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, and Bradley Beal were the 3 best players on the team, completely ignoring the fact that Zubac was an integral piece of the team last year. And I think we said this for multiple years under Ty. It just feels like Ty Lue does not trust Zubac. He does not go to Zubac. He does not believe in Zubac. And that's probably another reason why the Clippers made this trade. And maybe the reason why Ty Lue didn't have any belief or trust in Zubac is because the only thing Zubac really does offensively is he can post you up, hit the hook, or basically hit a floater. But outside of that, he has no perimeter game that spaces the offense out. Nothing. Now, it is going to be interesting to see in Indiana, are they going to try to see if they can make him develop a 3-point shot? And especially make him have him shoot threes. Because if he shoots threes, then I'm going to be looking at the fucking coach like Ty Lue looking like an idiot and be like, okay, so you restricted this guy to shooting threes, but he can shoot threes. Because if I start seeing Zubac make and hit threes in Indiana, then I'm really going to have a problem with the coach. And the front office should have a problem with the coach because they'll be like, whoa, wait. He can hit threes? Why were you not telling him to do that? So, you have that, right? But Zubac was a loyal player. A good player. But it just felt like this year, for whatever reason, he did not live up to the player he played like last year. We had a lot of expectations for him that he was going to live up and play like the player he played like last year. And he was a shell of himself. Zubac reverted back to the player before last year, where he came across as soft, where it felt like other big men were dominating him. Yeah, would he have a good game here and there? But for the most part, when you look at from the eye test, he's not hustling out there. You can tell he's not being aggressive out there. You can tell he was being a little soft out there. And I don't know, for whatever reason. I mostly attribute it to the fact he decided to lose weight for whatever reason. He lost 15 pounds. Why he decided to lose 15 pounds to get himself more lean, I have no idea. But it absolutely made him weaker in the post. Because last year he was dominating dudes in the post. He was pushing them around. He was bullying them. And then he decides to do the smart, or decides to do or lose 15 pounds, and he couldn't post guys up. It's like dudes were brick walls against him. And he just didn't play like he was playing last year. And you just can't not trade a guy who has still, even though he wasn't playing as good, the fact that coming off last year is like, okay, if I can get more consistency out of him, he can be a dominant guy. And his stock was never higher, was never going to be higher than it is now. Because number one, he's not getting any younger. He's getting older. And the fact that Lawrence Frank took a gamble and you traded Zubac for 2 first, 2 solid players, and another second round pick, you'll take that deal all day. Because guess what? You can go out there and find a serviceable center, whether it's in the draft or you through free agency. And maybe you get a more modernized center that, hey, he can occasionally hit spot up threes. He can occasionally get in the post. Because I think that's the type of shit, or the type of center that definitely what Ty Lue likes to fucking run is doing. What he wants, one that can space the floor. Because you have a space flooring center. Sorry. It opens up your offense to do even more insane things. Now, the Clippers are going to take a hit this year. They're not going to be as good. I don't know if they'll get a play-in spot. I don't know. The center rotation definitely sucks. Your guard situation until Garland gets back sucks. I'm just shocked that they didn't trade any more guys. I thought they were going to trade Bogdanovich. No, they didn't. They're keeping him around. I guess they're just going to let him walk in free agency. But there's one thing. They definitely do need to try all options they got at guards. Especially ball handling. But regardless, we'll see where it goes. The Clippers made a good trade. I'm happy about it. I'm stoked for the future. Thank you, Lawrence Frank. You completely changed how I'm starting to feel about you. I still have my doubts. I still do not like the guy, but today showed me, hey, maybe he's not, maybe he did deserve that contract extension. So, we'll see where the Clipper goes. But I'm happy, I'm ecstatic that the Clippers finally, and I mean finally, blow it up. And we got 2 promising players in Garland and Mathurin. I'll take it. Anyways, if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts, hit the subscribe button if you want to get more Clippers content or any other sports content upload to the channel and things like that. But till then, guys, stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your day or your night or whenever you're in this video, and I will see you guys later. Till then, guys, peace.